Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a good minute since I posted my last video, and a lot has happened since then, a lot. So we're gonna get right to it. I'm gonna tell you things that are coming up, things that have happened, just everything. Since the last time I posted my last video, I think it was like 2 years ago, I think. You guys saw that there was me and my kids, and we were living in our own apartment, but that has completely changed. So now your girl is still living with her parents. Your girl fell in love, and your girl gained weight. Your girl has been enjoying life, everything that comes along with finding somebody. We have plans. We want to get married. We've been together for a year, and yes, your girl got pregnant. So that's the main reason why I made this video, was to just update you guys on life. And the main thing for this video was to tell you about my pregnancy. So you guys know that I have 2 kids, 2 girls, and I have been single for, I want to say 2 years, 3 years. But your girl finally met somebody. I think the day after Christmas, or a couple of days after Christmas, we found out that we were pregnant. I always told myself, the next person that I meet, the next person that I date, I'm gonna marry that person. And I wanted it to be different. I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to get married first before having kids. I was just enjoying life. I was in love. Girl, when I tell you, I ate. We went out to eat. We went out to drink. We went out to do... I was just living my best life. And so I found out that I was pregnant in December, the ending of December. And I'm gonna be very honest, like, the initial reaction of when I found out, I was like sad. I was sad, scared, and worried, because it's not, because I told myself I wanted to get married first. That's what I want to do. I don't want to mess things up. I don't want to repeat, my other 2 pregnancies. So I wanted to be married first, and that it was just a bummer for me when I found out. And mind you, we weren't trying. I got pregnant because I was on antibiotics and my pills. But if, for those of you who don't know, when you're on antibiotics, your contraceptives don't work, so you can get pregnant. We weren't trying, but it is what it is. At that time, I was pregnant, and so I told him. I was bummed a little bit, and so I told him, and I was sad. But he made me realize that, like, I'm not 18 years old anymore when I had my first one. I finished school already. I'm older now, and I shouldn't be upset about something so precious. And I'm happy I'm with somebody that I know will take care of me, that I know loves me and treats me well. And so I shouldn't be upset about something that's been given to me. And so I started getting so excited. My sister was pregnant at that time as well, and she was about to have her baby. So we made plans of like, okay, we're gonna get a house now, because we've always wanted to get a house. We've always wanted to get married. We were thinking like, okay, let's get a 4Runner, because we always wanted to get a 4Runner. We made plans to do all of these things because I found out we were pregnant, and we had planned of how we were gonna tell my family, my kids, we were gonna do it. We were gonna tell the girls on Valentine's Day, and my sister's due date was in March, so I wanted her to give birth first before I told her. And so we were gonna send her, and she lives in North Dakota now, so we were either planning on going up there. Well, actually, we weren't gonna go up there anymore because we had found out that we needed to get all of these things because we were pregnant. But so we were gonna tell her, or send her a little gift for the baby that said something cute like soon to be cousin or something like that. But we had everything planned out, and so we had found out a couple days after, in between Christmas and New Year's Eve. It's crazy because, okay, so long story short, he gave me a ring. It's a promise ring, please. A while ago, this was a while ago that he gave this to me, and I had lost it. Like, I misplaced it one day when I was baking. I know I had taken it off and I set it down, but I just totally forgot where. And this is like around Christmas time, so I'm just like, everything is all over the place. And so I had misplaced it, and I literally thought it got thrown in the trash somehow. Like, I could not find it. And so even during Christmas, I wasn't wearing it. My stepmom was cleaning the house, and we were in the room, like we were still in bed, we were just chilling, lying around. She was cleaning the house, and we have like a little manger set of like baby Jesus and Mary and all of that stuff. It was so crazy because she comes into my room and she goes, "Brittany, look what I found." And she found my ring in the manger. And I was telling him, like, that's so crazy. So right then and there, I already knew, like, this was a sign that this was meant to happen. And even if we're not married, then it's okay. We'll get married someday. It's just not gonna be right now because we're meant to have a baby right now. The day of New Year's Eve, I wasn't having any pain, but I noticed that I started spotting, and so we went to the emergency New Year's Eve before going to all of our family parties and whatever. So we went to the emergency for New Year's Eve, and I was probably only like a week or two along. I had not even scheduled like an official doctor's appointment yet. And so we had gone to the emergency room, and so he did an ultrasound, he did blood tests, and they couldn't really tell me anything because I was so early. But as far as it looked, everything was fine. He sent me home. And then I had already made an appointment, but I never went yet. So my initial appointment was scheduled for the upcoming work day. And so when we went to our initial doctor's appointment, she gives you the papers. They first confirm if you are pregnant or not. So they take a pregnancy test, a urine test. They confirmed that it was positive. She gave me papers, and then they'll tell you to go do your blood test right after. So keep in mind, when I first, I've already had 2 kids. So when I noticed that I was spotting a little bit, it just I was like, okay, that's weird. I took my blood test, I went home for the day, and I was fine. I started spotting again, and so I called my doctor again, and I made another doctor's appointment. And so I went in, we took another blood test, and that appointment from my first one was only like, I think maybe 3 days apart. So the second time I saw her, she made me take another blood test again. She also checked me, and everything was like, there was nothing wrong. You know, no pain or anything. So I went home, and then the next day, which was a Friday, and I can remember this like it just happened. I was at work, and she called me, like, she scared me because she was just like, "Hi Brittany, I need you to come down right away, because your blood test, it's not going up as normal as it should be. So your HCG level, which is what the blood test is for, is to determine your HCG level. Within a span of 2 days, it's supposed to double. Your numbers are supposed to double. So let's say my numbers, when I first took the blood test, it was 200. My numbers 2 days later should be 400. But in my case, it wasn't doing that. It was like just barely making the double mark. So like my numbers were 200, it was only 3 when she had called me. My numbers were going up, but not as much as it should be. So she was like, "I need you to come in right away." And I was like, "Wait, I'm at work." And I was like, "Okay, can I come in your next available, which is on Monday?" And she's like, "I don't want to wait that long." And so right then and there, I'm just like, okay, if you can't even wait till Monday, like, what's happening? And so nobody knew that I was pregnant. Nobody, not one person except for my boyfriend. So I started crying because the work that I do, the job that I had at that time, it was just me. And at that time, there was only me and another girl in the office during that day, and my boss was not there. So it was just hectic, and I know I couldn't have left. I would need a damn good reason to leave. So I started crying, and I called Joey, and I was like, while I was still at work, as soon as I got off the phone with her, I called him, and I was crying, and I was like, "She wants me to go in now. Something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong." Like, I was crying. And so I went in, and I took another blood test, and they told me that day that there's something wrong. Your numbers are not going high up enough as what we would like it to be. So they did. I took another blood test. I scheduled another appointment for me to come back on Monday. And even from that Friday to my next appointment the next Monday, my numbers still did not go up. My numbers were going up, but they weren't doubling. So I went in again on Monday. They said they had did like a ultrasound, and they also went, they did an internal ultrasound. So for the longest time, they couldn't see anything at first. They could not find where the baby was. It definitely wasn't in my uterus where it's supposed to be. Even when they were trying to see if it was like stuck somewhere for a good time, they could not find where it was. And so the doctor at that day that I spoke to, he said that they can't find it. And so they basically would just need to monitor me. So they didn't do anything that day. They just, you know, we're gonna schedule you for you to come back maybe in a couple of days, in 2 days, and to see where your numbers are at, and to see, you know, if we can find this baby again. So that I took another blood test, and let me tell you, I've never taken a blood test, so many blood tests in a month, in a week. Like, I think I took like 5 blood tests in 1 week. Like, oh my God. Like, after a while, after maybe like 2 weeks, my vein over here where they poke it, like when they took the blood test and they took out the needle, and they like they wrap it, they put the gauze or whatever, the gauze. But even after, like, when I came home and like to shower, like when I took off the gauze, there was like so much blood on it. And I think it's because like I just kept getting poked in the same area, so it was just like getting bigger and bigger. The hole was getting bigger and bigger. But yeah, I've never been poked so much. Like, I've never taken blood tests so much in my life. But anyway, so I go home that Monday and schedule another appointment 2 days later. 2 days later Wednesday comes, and I go there again. My numbers still are not going up as high. So at that point, they already know something's wrong. It's not normal. And the fact that, and then when I went to that doctor's appointment, the ultrasound tech could find it was like they could see something, but it was it wasn't distinct. Like, she's like, oh, this might, like, it's hard to explain because it's like they're saying, oh, you supposed to look, like, I kept asking her question after question after question, and she's saying, oh, it's supposed to look like a donut. And I honestly, like, I was looking at the screen and I could not find what she was looking for. But let me tell you, you can see your insides. Like, you can see your, oh my gosh, you can just see everything. Like, so clear too. Like, you know how your insides goes like that, and there's like lines. Oh, you can see that. You can see that. We saw something that what she thought it might be the baby, but like I said, it wasn't in my uterus, so it was basically stuck. So the doctor that I saw that day, they were like, we don't want to keep it in you any longer because this is very dangerous. Diagnosed it as an ectopic pregnancy. So if you guys don't know what an ectopic pregnancy is, where the egg gets stuck in your tube. So that's where mine was at. So they were like, you to keep this inside of your body any longer, because what could happen is that the bigger it gets, because it is still growing, it's just not growing normally because your tube is so small. It's like a noodle, and for a baby to grow inside there, you know, it wants to grow but it can't fully because it's stuck. So they said there's 2 options, and believe me, I was asking questions left and right. Like, I was so confused. Like, she told me ectopic pregnancy, and I was like, okay, so does that mean, so can I still keep the baby? And she was probably thinking in her head, like, no. But yeah, ectopic pregnancies, you can't keep them. There's no other option. So there was 2 things I could have done, which was either take a methotrexate shot. It's what they give cancer patients because the shot kills cells. So that's what they needed to do in this case. Or, so it's a shot, or I do surgery and take out the ectopic pregnancy. First of all, I ain't doing no surgery. I am not doing a surgery. No. But I was relieved when she said usually they would only do surgeries like if it's a last minute option, like if people are in so much pain that they have to do like an emergency surgery. That's what would happen usually when you do get the surgery. But in this case, she said since I was not that far along, we could do the shot. So it's just a one-time shot. You get it on your butt cheek. I had to get one on each cheek, and she said it should just go away after that. I'm gonna tell you now that at first, when I thought the shot was a good idea at that time, you know, I took the shot, whatever, and it was very sad. Like, I did not go to work that day. I was supposed to go to work, but I didn't because it was just like emotionally hard to know that you were excited for something and it just got taken away from you just like that, and you had no choice. We were getting prepared for it, and then all of a sudden, and it's something that you really wanted, and then all of a sudden you can't have it. So that really like took a toll on me. It really did. So after I took the shot, that was it. You know, I went on with my daily life. I went to work the next day, and that was it. I never did get my period yet, you know, and then I also started working out, which I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but I just figured, you know, it's going away. I mean, it's not going to be there anymore, so why shouldn't I work out? But I noticed that when I did work out the first time after getting the shot, it started to hurt. My abdominal area started to hurt, and I did bleed, not heavily, but I was bleeding a little more than spotting. The doctor warned me that you might have some bleeding. One night I started having like really bad pain to the point where like even just walking, I couldn't walk that well, straight, regular, because I was in pain. And so it was in the middle of the night, and we went to the emergency, and we were there for, I don't even know, like, we were there for a long time. This goes on to the next day, because the doctors, I was bleeding. It was like a normal period. The doctors did ultrasound again. The pain started wearing off, but the doctors came in and they told me, even though you aren't having pain now, who's to say that I won't have more pain later? Right now you did take the shot, and so my numbers started going down, which was a good sign. But I think what was happening is that it was trying to push out of my tube. It was trying to get out of my tube, which is why I started feeling pain. So the doctors were basically like, I think we should take it out. We should get it out because you could, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but it's dangerous. Ectopic pregnancies are dangerous because if you don't catch it early, you can bleed out, basically. So the ectopic pregnancy it'll keep growing, but it'll burst, and your tube will burst open, and that's how you bleed out. And you won't feel pain. You can feel pain, sometimes you won't. Sometimes people won't know that they've had an ectopic pregnancy until they faint, or until they're feeling pain, and at that time it's almost too late to do a surgery. So that's why the doctor said the surgery would most likely happen in emergency surgeries. So they said that it's better if we just get it out, because there is still a possibility of me of it bursting open, my tube bursting open, because it's trying to force itself out. There is a possibility of that happening to me. And at that time, I was just so sick of everything. And need I mind you, after I took the shot at the doctor's office, I had to go every Monday. I had to go take blood tests every Monday, and I had to make sure that my numbers were dropping. And for the 4 weeks after I took the shot, that's what was happening. But my number at the time that I took the shot, my number was so high that my numbers were going down so slow. So, and that too, just to know that you took a shot when your number is like that high, it just like kills you inside. It's just like, I don't even know. I can't even like explain the feeling when that happens to you. But anyway, so yeah, the doctors basically told me that it would be better for me to just take it out, and if I get pregnant again anyway and it goes down that same tube, even if I didn't get the surgery, it would still be stuck. So and at that point I was just so over it. Like, I hated taking blood tests every single Monday. I hated the position that I was in already. I hated it. And so I was just like, you know what, whatever, I'll just do the surgery. So this goes on into the next morning. The next day I was at the hospital overnight. They put me into a new room instead of staying in the ER. They got me my own room. They basically scheduled a surgery for me, and my surgery was later in the afternoon. So I went to the emergency in the evening, like around 11 p.m. and then I was there in the emergency until like 3 a.m. They moved me 3 a.m. the next day. They moved me to my own room, and then around probably 1 p.m. I went into surgery to get it removed. And during that whole time, they explained to me everything, what my options were, what I could do. So I could either have this was on my left side, so I could either have my whole left side removed, or they could just cut open the tube and take out the pregnancy. But they did warn me that if I did get pregnant again and it went down that same tube, I would probably have to get it removed a later time. But I wanted to save whatever I could. Maybe there's a miracle and it goes down that same tube and I get pregnant. I was just like, any chances of me getting pregnant again, I want to have. I want to have another baby. We want to have another baby. And we've, it's so crazy because he has a girl who's a year older than my oldest. So he has a girl, I have 2 girls, and we both want a boy. And like, even when we found out, we called it. We already called it a boy. We already started calling it son. Thinking about it now, I got my hopes up way too much. But at the same time, I thought I thought I was gonna be pregnant. Yeah, they were able to just cut my tube open and take out the ectopic pregnancy, and it was in there because, as I mentioned earlier, they could not find it. They didn't know where it was. They had a feeling it was in my tube, but they couldn't. I mean, I can explain a little bit of the surgery to you. I don't want to gross out anybody, but I'll just give you general. So like, they go through your side, your lower abdomen. So they'll go in through one side, your right side, and your left side, and then they'll go through your belly button. The belly button is where the camera is, and then you have 2 surgeons on each side of you, so that, you know, one surgeon lifts up something, and the other one does what it needs to do. That's basically where my incisions were. I have had, with my oldest, I had a cesarean, and I actually wanted to talk about, like, make a separate video of each of my pregnancies. My older one, I had a cesarean, but it was nothing like that. Like, they cut you from right above your bone, your pelvic bone, I don't know, yeah, somewhere up there, but they cut it straight across, and they kept me, like, I was awake. But this one, they had to put me to sleep, and let me tell you, okay, the movies get to me. That's why I don't watch scary movies, because they will freak me the frick out. But I was so scared about doing this surgery because of the fact that I had to be put to sleep, because I was like telling the doctor, I was like, have you guys ever dealt with, like, people not waking up? And I was just like, oh my god, I was like scared. But going into the surgery room and getting prepped and everything, I was like trying to be so positive, like so positive. And yeah, and that was it. So I was pregnant, and it was ectopic, and I got it removed. I had to get it removed. After the surgery, I went back into my room, and usually you would leave the same day as your surgery, but because I had the surgery later in the day, I had to stay there overnight. And Joey was right there when I got back, with a little puppy, a stuffed animal. Like, let me tell you guys, I've never had somebody care for me like that, and which is why I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I found him, that I met him. But yeah, I know it's so crazy because I did a little, those of you who know me or like follow me on Instagram, I had posted, well, because, so we went there late at night. We were there till the following night, and Joey has not slept. He has not been on a bed. And so I had posted on my story of him like crashing out when he finally got a bed to sleep on, and I thought it was like I felt so bad. So I had posted a story, and I did not think anything of it. I was just like, it was because I felt so bad, so I just posted the story of him, of my baby, because he didn't get to sleep. And when I posted it, I had all of these messages like, are you okay? What happened? I was like, oh, frick. Shit. So till this day, not a lot of people know what happened. Only close friends and some family even. But I wanted to post this video because, like, I've heard of ectopic pregnancies, but I've never known somebody who actually went through it. I've never known what happened. And after the fact, like when I got home and I was like sitting in bed, not having anything to do because I could not move. I started looking it up on YouTube. I was like, I wonder if there's anybody else's story out there that has had this before. And keep in mind, the doctor, when I first found out that I had an ectopic pregnancy, she told me, oh, it's just there are some pregnancies that are ectopic. Like, she was nonchalant about it. She said there are some pregnancies that are ectopic, but it only happens to like 1 out of 3 women, and usually happens to people who've never had kids before. Just my luck. Like, let me tell you, just my luck, because I already have 2 kids. So how the hell did this happen to me? I was just like, this is not happening. But it is what it is. I just wanted to share my story out there for those of you who kept asking me what happened and still doesn't know to this day. And for those of you who, I don't know if you know somebody who's had an ectopic pregnancy or is going through an ectopic pregnancy, or I don't know somebody who's going through it and doesn't know what to say. Yeah, I wanted to just give a little bit of insight of what happened to me. Hopefully it'll help somebody else. I don't know what miscarriages are like. I've never had a miscarriage. But for an ectopic pregnancy, the aftermath feeling is a process. Not only because of the anesthesia and the physical things that you go through, but emotionally, like how I mentioned before, I thought the shot was the right thing to do because I thought, oh, it would just go away just like that. But the thought, as days went by, the thought of knowing that you're still pregnant and your baby is slowly disappearing is just, it's hard. It's very hard to accept. Very hard. I don't know. Till this day, I would have been, my due date would have been in September this year. Till this day, I always wonder what life would be like if I was still pregnant, you know. But this was just the way it's supposed to be. This is, you know, I really believe that everything happens the way it's supposed to. And we just weren't meant to have a baby right now. It was a good wake-up call. Maybe this was just God's way of giving us another chance of doing it right. Yeah, I don't know, but we are both very sad. We are still gonna try again. You can bet your ass that we're gonna try again. My chances of getting pregnant now are just 50-50. I only, as of right now, I only have 1 tube good, my right tube, which, you know, the doctors mentioned the outside looks good, but we don't know what's on the inside. There might be scarring or something going on, which is probably what happened to the other side, which is why I got stuck. But so far right now, the outside of my right tube looks good. So hopefully, you know, I can get pregnant on that side. And I've come to the realization that my kids, my 2 kids, might be the only kids that I have, which is fine. You know, there's other people out there who can't have kids. I can honestly say, though, right now, trying, I want to try again, but trying really does scare me. Because we don't know. We don't know if my right tube is good or not. We don't know if it'll get stuck again on my left side. We won't know until I do get pregnant again, which is just a scary thought. Like, to know that I might have to go through this all over again, or to know that I may never have kids. It's very, like, I kind of don't want to deal with it. But that's my story, and we're just going day by day with it, you know. We're healing, we are moving on. I think Joey still has the pregnancy test from when I took it, but yeah. So with all of that, I do want to let you guys know of some of the things that I've been thinking of doing. I'm really excited. We are gonna be doing, we've already posted some video, or made some videos, so we're gonna be doing mukbangs with the kids, story times as far as my pregnancies, challenges. There's gonna be some guest people on here, some vlogs, because we have some upcoming trips. So I'm excited. So yeah, we're excited to be back. I'm excited to be back, and we can't wait to be sharing more videos with you. And with that, don't forget to
like, comment, and subscribe, and give this video a big thumbs up.
Don't forget to press the bell button so you can get notified of when we post. And we'll see you in our next video. Bye.
Bye.